Welcome back to the Kanc Connection. I'm Olivia Drapo.
And I'm Jillian. We have some fantastic stories for you today, right here on the Kanc Connection.
First up, we have a video of this year's Youth in Government Pizza and Bills event. Youth in Government is a club that gives high school students an opportunity to simulate the law writing process statewide. Typically, our students in Youth in Gov would write a bill, which is a potential law, that they would like to see change, and would present that bill to a panel of other students from around New Hampshire at the State House. Due to the pandemic, there was no statewide conference last spring. There is a virtual edition of the conference this year, but Lin-Wood will not be participating. However, many students have written bills which they would have presented at last year's conference, or wanted to write a new bill this year. The Pizza and Bills event was a chance for these students to present their bills and allowed other students to debate and learn what youth in government is all about. Jillian has put together a video for us showcasing the presentations from the event. Let's take a look.
This bill is to ban the sale of tobacco products such as cigarettes, cigars, and chew. This is to help reduce the consumption of tobacco products. This also expands to companies producing tobacco products. They are prohibited to sell to any store or person that are currently in New Hampshire. If one is caught selling cigarettes, cigars, then they will get fined $50,000. This will be enforced by New Hampshire Bureau of Tobacco and Alcohol. Police will be writing fines. These fines will need to be paid by at least 2 weeks after issued. Funding for the will need to be minimal. Okay. All funding will go towards advertisements. This bill will be put into place on January 1st, 2021. Wow, that's an interesting date. What do you have anything to add to this?
Don't sell drugs!
My bill is to ensure the safety of drivers, pedestrians, and property. A license renewal is to be accompanied by a vision test as well as a short driving exam. If a vision test and/or a driving exam cannot be passed, the license will be suspended until the tests are completed and passed. This adjustment to the license renewal process will be enforced and overseen by the Department of Motor Vehicles, and the enforcement of this law is going to be license suspension.
As we all know, the opioid epidemic, not pandemic, is very big in New Hampshire, but also in the U.S. And to lower these rates, my bill is patients seeking the prescription must pass a mandatory blood test to test for opioids previous of the prescription if they weren't prescribed to them before, like to test if they were using them and they're just needing a little fix.
The Minor Labor Standards Act, relative to federal child labor laws. So on this sheet, you don't have a copy, that I'll explain it to you. Bold indicates a change from the FLSA, and green means it's less restrictive, red means it's more restrictive. So section 1, be it enacted by the Lin-Wood Youth Pizza and Bills. For the purpose of this bill, the articles of the Fair Labor Standards Act concerning child labor are hereby replaced with the Minor Labor Standards Act, which includes the following provisions. Section 2, individuals 14 and 15 years old may work the following hours. Hours must be outside school hours only when school is in person. No more than 4 hours on any school day, excluding Fridays. No more than 8 hours on a non-school day. No more than 24 hours during a week when school is in session. No more than 40 hours a week when school is not in session. Between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., except for between June 1st and Labor Day, when the evening hour is extended to 10 p.m., except summer vacation. And individuals do not need a written work schedule anymore. So that just makes things difficult. Section 3, individuals 16 and 17 years old may work unlimited hours except for the following. More than 6 hours a day on school days except for Fridays, and between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. on a school day except for Fridays. Overtime pay begins at 30 hours a week when school is in session and remains at 40 when school is not in session. Not in session also classifies as like winter vacation, the week-long vacations, all that stuff. Section 4. If the individual is failing 2 or more classes for 2 or more consecutive weeks, the guidance counselor may use their discretion to restrict the working hours as they see fit. This decision may override any work schedule without penalty to the employee as long as they are provided sufficient notice. Section 5. If the individual is currently involved in remote schooling, the individual may work during the remote school day as long as classes are attended enough.
What did that?
Yeah. Section 6. Individuals may work in all occupations, even those deemed hazardous by the Secretary of Labor. However, workman's compensation increases by 25% for minors involved in incidents while doing hazardous work, compared to an employee of age. Section 7. Employers must provide an environment where minor employees can follow CDC COVID-19 guidelines until the pandemic is over. The employee can decide whether or not to follow these guidelines, but it must be possible to work effectively while complying. Section 8. Penalties and enforcement will fall under the Department of Labor. Section 9. This act is effective May 1st of this year. And Section 10 is all conflicting articles of the Fair Labor Standards Act, and all laws and acts in conflict with this bill are hereby repealed.
What a great event! Up next, we have our very own Emma McNamara with a brand new myth for us today. I can't wait to see what she has prepared this time.
Welcome back to It's All Greek to Me. I'm Emma, and today we'll be talking about Icarus. At this point, the tale of Icarus is synonymous with hubris, or excessive pride. We've probably all heard the saying, "Don't fly too close to the sun." And that saying comes directly from the story of Icarus, and it will soon be obvious why. This story starts with Minos, the ruler of Crete, and the same person who was in charge of containing the Minotaur. To do this, he constructed the help of a master craftsman, Daedalus, who he had built an amazing maze to contain the beast. But as soon as he finished that, Minos chucked Daedalus and his young son into a prison. It wasn't a normal prison, though. To make sure that no one could find a way out of the maze, Minos had put Daedalus and his young son, Icarus, into a tall tower. And there was no way that they could escape by land, considering that Crete was an island and that Minos had complete control over all of the ships coming in or out and demanded that they all be checked before leaving port. For most people, this would be the end, but not for Daedalus. He knew his only chance of escape was the sky, so he spent quite a bit of time collecting bird feathers, and once he had enough to start his project, he began inventing. He took these feathers and used wax from his candles to make 2 beautiful pairs of golden wings, one for himself and one for Icarus. But once the wings were finished, Daedalus had to offer his son a warning. If he were to fly too close to the sea, the salt and water would destroy his wings, but if he were to alternatively fly too high, the sun would melt the wax and he would plummet into the sea. And with this warning, the pair left. They jumped from their tower and soon learned to emulate the flaps of birds so they could fly across the sea. But Icarus didn't even notice his father's warning taking effect until he found globs of feathers and wax falling into the sea below him. By the time he realized it, his wings had fully melted and he fell into the sea, where he unfortunately drowned. And with his death, Icarus became a metaphor for moderation. If he had instead flown too close to the ocean, the salt in the water would have torn up his wings and he would have met the same fate. So only by following in his father's example and flying between these 2 extremes would he have been able to survive. And that was the tale of Icarus. I'm Emma. That was It's All Greek to Me. Signing off.
Thank you, Emma. On Tuesday, April 6th, the Interact Club volunteered by cleaning up the Discovery Trail in Lincoln. We now have a short video for you showing a bit of what the afternoon looked like.
Here we go.
That trail looks a lot better after our hard work this week. That's not the only thing Interact has been up to, though. Lin-Wood Public School has gotten 3 new picnic tables that were moved from the Kanc ski slope this week. Interact built them last fall to accommodate the skiers who would typically rest inside the lodge, which was closed this year due to COVID. Now that the Kanc is closed for the season, a few of those tables have been temporarily moved outside our school for more classes to be held outside and for students who wish to eat lunch outdoors as the weather gets nicer. Don't worry though, those picnic tables will be back before the Kanc camp starts up this summer. Now let's check out the moving process.
Those picnic tables will get plenty of use in these next few months, especially if the weather stays as warm as it is today. We will now have a quick break, but don't go away. We still have so much more to see right here on the Kanc Connection.
Dad?
Just 1 minute, okay?
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back, everyone. Now we have another video from our anatomy and physiology class giving us a brief summary of their experiments. This week comes from our very own Jillian Clark.
Hi, I'm Jillian, and I did my experiment on varying instruments and their effects on the force of respiration. For my study, Mr. Untersea played 4 different instruments: the flute, the trumpet, the clarinet, and the tuba, and wore a respiration belt that tracked how much his breath expanded and contracted. That was able to tell how much force it took to play each different instrument when playing the same line of music in each varying keys. The tuba was found to have the most force necessary in order to play it, with the least force being the flute. This is because the flute has no air resistance because you're blowing over the instrument instead of down into it. And since you blow into the tuba and it's so large, there's so many pipes it has to go through, more force is necessary to make one sound, as that same sound would be made when using a flute.
I hope you found that video informative. Now onto a special interview with softball players Sydney Pickering and Haley Otis about the upcoming season. Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Haley Otis. I'm a senior at Lin-Wood Public High School, and I'm also a senior on the softball team.
I'm Sydney Pickering. I'm a junior, and I'm the catcher on the softball team.
What I'm most excited about for softball is being able to have fans again, which is going to be awesome. I haven't played since my sophomore year, so having a season again is going to be really nice. And I'm excited for like the whole family aspect of like having a team and being a team as well.
Just having the ability to play this year is something special because last year it was stripped away from us, and our team environment this year is super tight and we're like a little family, so I'm really excited for that. Yeah, having spectators is something like really special. As we know, the basketball teams didn't really get to have spectators. It was all live stream, And having your parents watch you play games is something that makes you want to play better and makes you more proud of playing. So I believe having spectators is important. Yeah, there's still plenty of time for you guys to sign up if you want to play. If you're on the fence about it, just come to like 1 or 2 practices and get the feel for it. Our team is really welcoming, and I'm sure you'd be a perfect fit for our team, so sign up.
Essentially, you can still join, obviously. We're really open, really kind, like really supportive team. Like there's like no negative aspects about it at all. We're all very understanding and caring, and we'll take care of you as a family. So
I look forward to seeing you guys on the sidelines and some of you on the field.
see ya on the diamond.
We are looking forward to getting to have a season this year, but the varsity and middle school softball and baseball teams are still looking for athletes to play. If you're interested, please reach out to Mr. Laux for more information. The first varsity baseball and softball games will be held on Wednesday of next week at 4 against Colebrook. Baseball will be home and softball will be away. On Thursday, the softball team will play away at Littleton at 4. And then on Friday, the baseball team will play Littleton at home at 4. Spectators are permitted this year.
Savannah Hansen, please come to the front office. Savannah Hansen, please come to the front office.
Spectators are permitted this year with masks on at both home and away games. If you can make it, come out to support our sports teams. As always, the results of the games will be broadcasted at the end of the week right here on the Kanc Connection.
Good luck to all of our softball and baseball players. As more and more of our senior students are being accepted and committing to colleges, logistical planning for next year has already begun. The Kanc Connection reached out to a few successful Lin-Wood 2020 graduates who are just finishing up their freshman year at college. They will be offering packing suggestions and advice about attending college during a pandemic. Today, we have a video from Charmaine Chow.
Hello everyone. So I'm gonna give you guys my top 5 things that I recommend packing for college that you might not think about. So like ignoring like sheets and like bedding, like that's stuff that is that's like background knowledge. But I'm gonna focus more on like stuff that I think is fun to have and like kind of essential that I think you should pack. So this is just my opinion. No hate. No hate. Of course you don't need these things, but I just think like having it made my college experience just a little bit more fun, a little bit better, a little bit easier. The first thing I recommend buying or bringing is a speaker. This, just like for yourself or even like in a group of people, like a lot this year, like the pandemic and everything, we were like outside a lot. So having like a good speaker was just fun to like listen to music and like do your homework under the sun, but like not in winter because that was terrible. But this is a JBL Go 2. The Go 3 is like a waterproof version, which I would have gotten because like when you go to the beach, it's just better to have it in case something happens. Okay, sorry, got an email. I bought this like case for it separately, which yeah, they make those. And it just came with like a carabiner and this like rubber silicone. So, speaker. Okay, so the second thing I recommend bringing is a Brita filter system. So something like a Brita, doesn't have to be that brand, but that's just the one like most college kids use. So me, like I go to like an old school, like there's only 2 water fountains in residential halls and stuff like that. And they're like, the Sustainable Club is trying to make it like bigger and stuff like that, like more people, like more buildings having water systems, which like come on, like as it should be. Like for me personally, there's no water fountain in my building. So I have a Brita and it's just a lot easier, and also save the turtles. So I would definitely recommend getting that before you go to college, or not sponsored by Amazon, wish I was, not that Lin-Wood is either. You can do a 6-month like free trial for Prime, and you can just buy all your stuff then. And like you don't have to like bring it all to college, I guess. Okay, the third thing I recommend, it's kind of like more of a practical item, is bring scissors. Even if it's just to cut like packages or something. It's so useful. I have 2. Okay, this one is normal and this one's like my fabric scissors for like my class. So it's just like when you're at home, you'll always have scissors because you know like your parents will have them or something, but when you're at school, like you won't. And just having them is a lot better. The fourth thing I recommend is dishes. So Target currently, and I think for this, I don't know if they started this year, but they have like those like bowls and plates, like they're like plastic but they're microwavable, dishwasher safe, like all that stuff. Buy them, because even though you think you're gonna be like eating dining food, like dining hall food all the time, sometimes you might have leftovers and it's just easier to microwave them on a plate, or like if you want to cook in the microwave, like having like a little bowl is great. I used that so many times. Like at first I didn't have any of that stuff, but then after I bought it, like I used it all the time. So it's like 50 cents at Target, so like definitely buy some. The last thing I recommend bringing is just like stuff to make you feel at home. So for example, I have like little lights or like artwork. You might know that already, but some people like I didn't bring anything to decorate my walls with. I ended up like creating a lot of art or like taking a lot of Polaroids to fill up my walls. It just like ended up being a place that you spend a lot of time in. So having it be a place where you can like call your home and like be comfortable in and feel like your own. Hello? I'm sorry, I keep hearing knocking. That happens too in college. It's just very essential to like your mental health and like well-being. So definitely have like posters or like make some art for your wall. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy that. If you have any questions, please, anything about like admissions, or like programs, how college works, tea drama about college, anything, please let me know. Like I'd be happy to talk like about them. So you can email me here. This is my college email now because Lin-Wood email got deactivated. And then this is my like personal email, but I kind of like check my con email a little bit more now. So either one's fine. Or you can text me if you have my number, or snap me. Most of you guys have my snap. I'd be happy to answer. So those are my top 5, what I would have wanted someone to tell me, I guess. And if you don't agree, that's fine. With that being said, I hope you guys found this video helpful. Maybe you knew it, maybe you didn't, maybe you're gonna go buy something. Yeah. Anyways, it was nice being here. Hope to see you guys again. Bye!
So nice to see your face again, Charmaine, and thank you for offering your insight. That's all for today's show. As always, if you have any feedback about our show or have a story you would like to see us cover, please reach out to tv.lin-wood.org. I'm Olivia Drapo.
And I'm Julian Clark, signing off. Go outside and enjoy the sunshine this weekend.
Thank you.